Hi, I'm Mike Crandall with Sandler Training. At our firm, we specialize in sales, management, and leadership development. When we work with visionary clients, we often find that some of the most important changes that they need to make are pretty small in the grand scheme of things. Let me share with you a story. Years ago, I worked for a company that sponsored a NASCAR racing team, as in NASCAR, the auto racing. Now, I wasn't a huge NASCAR fan when they hired me, but shortly after coming on board, I won a contest where I had the opportunity to go to an actual race. And I was fortunate enough during that race to get to sit up in the suite, so the fancy boxes behind glass. And while we were there, they gave us the opportunity to listen to the driver. They had special headphones that we could listen to the driver talk to the pit, the people in the pit. As our driver was going around the track, I heard him say on one of the laps, "The next time I come in for a pit stop, take a 1/4 pound of pressure out of my left front tire." I thought to myself, 1/4 pound of pressure out of one tire? That sounds kind of crazy. So I went to the guy that runs our race program and I asked him. I said, "Did I hear this right?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Come on." I said, "Most vehicles, like the truck I drive, have 35 pounds of pressure. There's no way somebody could tell if a tire needs 1 or 1/4 pound more or 1/4 pound less." And he said to me, he said, "You and I can't tell 1/4 pound of pressure, but that's not our job. That race car is an extension of him. It's his livelihood, it's his job, and it's also how everybody else in that crew makes a living. So he can tell things like that." And then I had to push back a little bit because I'm like, well, even if he can tell, how big of a difference can that make? And he said, well, it might not sound like a big difference, but when you're going 200 miles an hour for 500 miles, that 1/4 pound of pressure might lead to 164th of a mile an hour. Again, if that's for 200 miles an hour for 500 miles, that might lead to a fraction of a second difference. And I said, a fraction of a second? And he said, yeah. That's typically the difference between first and fifth in winning one of these races. I said, a fraction of a second? He said, yeah. He said, but the bigger deal is the difference between first and fifth is several $1 million of prize money. I'd like you to think about that story, and I'd like you to think about it in the context of your business. Regardless of your role, whether you're the CEO, the president, a director, a manager, a customer service rep, or in sales, what's your 1/4 pound of pressure? What's the tiny change that if you pay attention to it and you make could lead to great changes in the long run? What's your 1/4 pound of pressure? Once again, I'm Mike Crandall with Sandler Training.